Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to Unit Lost. I am Josh, and I'm going to be talking to you about the finals. Now, it goes without saying this is going to have some spoilers in it, because if you haven't watched the finals and you're watching this video, you might be slightly in the wrong place. Go watch them. They're surprisingly quick. That's what I'll say. Anyway, right. Yeah, thank you so much for those of you who also came out to New York, saw me and Sty in person. It was great to see everybody there. The energy in that environment was insane. Like, it felt so good to be there. I think Sty's already mentioned it in one of the videos that he put out recently, that the energy in the New York arena was insane. Everybody was so excited and happy to be there. It really did feel like BlizzCon, you know. It really felt like you had that community aspect to it, and it made it such a stellar event to go and attend. It was amazing. Anyway, right. We're going to be focusing on this Volskya game because it goes back and forth, it goes up and down, it goes round and round, it's insane, many different comps get played, it's crazy, okay? It's absolutely insane. So then, we're going to get started. We're going to take a look at the comps when they roll out the door, but Philadelphia, they're going to do something a little bit interesting here. I've seen teams do this a little bit more often now, and it makes me very happy to see them doing it, which is just changing up their comp just for the first couple of seconds, and then running back to spawn, and then changing it back to what they're going to be playing. Because teams need to scout each other, they need to know what the enemy team is running, and then you build a counter comp, but the counter comp they land on is what we call goats. I'm going to like draw just like a really, really terrible goat. There's the horn, right? That's a goat, okay? So this is GOATS comp. Why is it called GOATS comp? Because the team that sort of pioneered it, goats have ears as well, there we go. The team that pioneered it is called GOATS. So that's why, okay? And it's basically a triple tank, triple support comp. GOATS comp is powerful because it has two very, very sort of early, what we call power spikes, right? That's when the team is at their strongest point. And that's because tank cooldowns are pretty good, so when you run in and use all your tanky cooldowns, then you're going to have a nice little advantage over the enemy team generally. And the second power spike is with this Gaelic Queen right here. When Moira gets her ultimate online, it should come online first, okay? So it should be the first one coming up because she's healing 3 tanks. Then she's going to be just destroying everything. She's going to be healing everyone. Your tanks can do whatever they like. They can play very aggressively. The extra damage is usually enough to help prioritize and get a couple of kills. London, meanwhile, running sort of what I call the Philly comp, because Philadelphia really did pioneer this, the mono support, triple tank, double sniper comp. This is because most teams that run this, well, you generally don't get a huge advantage out of running the double support. Instead, it's better to have a bit more kill power, and the things that kill you when you're fighting against comps like this one are generally instantaneous, and so more healing isn't really going to matter. GOATS actually should be, in theory, pretty good against this comp. We'll see how it works out in practice. Now, the biggest obstacle that GOATS comp faces is that it isn't very agile, right? You don't have like this high mobility stuff with Winston. You still got the Reinhardt, so you have to sort of run around on the floor. So you're going to see the Philadelphia, they're just going to go straight indoors here, make sure they're out of line of sight of the enemy team, and try and run through and safely get to where they need to go. But London just rotate away, okay? They just go across the point. They're going to try and ensure that there is always a big distance between them and the enemy team. Also, the snipers, rather, are going to just stay on high ground nice and safe. So Philly close in as safely as they can, run in, sprint forward, and try and get some kills. But the DPS kind of instantly splits. Like, half of it's on Bedosin, half of it's on Gesture, and as a result, the two snipers just managed to basically boil down and destroy Poco in no time at all. Birdring and Prophet are just uncontested on that high ground. Bedosin manages to survive for an inordinate amount of time, and this is a disaster, right? Remember what I was saying about Moira needs to be the first one to build that ultimate? She isn't. Prophet is, basically. Like, I don't know who exactly got it first, but Prophet was pretty goddamn quick in getting it there. And a Dragon Strike with a team comp that needs to sort of move as a big tight unit and a big close-up ball, you can see the problem there, right? You can sort of understand that, well, this is going to be a bit of an issue, and London Spitfire know it. They're going to employ this straight away, so they spot them going through, and, well, bish, bash, bosh, it's just a simple matter of putting the dragon in the right place. You can see that Philadelphia don't quite know which direction to even go. They don't know whether they want to go straight to that high ground tunnel. They don't know if that's safe. They don't know where the dragon's going, and as a result, Philly just get caught out and destroyed, basically. And because it's a tanky comp, right, because it's basically, you know, tanks and healers, well, London is just going to charge ultimates super fast now. And GOATS comp is really good when you have those early power spikes, but when you start running into a team comp that's going to destroy you over and over again with ultimates, well, they're going to be building those up more and more and more and more and more and more and more. Now then, Philadelphia Fusion, they do have a resource that the enemy team can't quite deal with, and that is EQO's Graviton Surge, and this is what you really need to keep an eye on during all of this, because the Graviton Surge, they don't have a transcendence on London, right? There's no traditional tools to sort of stop that. So Carpe uses Rowdy, they go for another engagement here. You can see they're having a tough time getting onto that high ground, but they're managing to stay alive a little bit longer. Sado does something really clever here. He just sort of surfs across that whole hog, bounces himself around to the side, because of course he can do that. He can afford to be away from his team, because they're all tanks. They don't need a Reinhardt in front of him. Lets him set up the Earth Shatter, drops down the whole hog, which is, not going to zone them away anymore. And now it's been long enough for EQO to build up this ultimate, and well, Poker just drops a bomb, and you're like, why aren't they running away? Oh, that's why they're not running away, right? There's a Graviton Surge just sort of pinning them to the floor like a butterfly pinned into a collection. It's crazy stuff. It just destroys London, and as a result, it lets Philadelphia get ready for the next push. They did have to use a lot of resources to do it, though. They only really have Sound Barrier, and of course this isn't any buffs on Lucio at the moment. It's still the poor old sort of 600 hit point Sound Barrier. It's not really going to be enough to help tilt the fight. Oh, sorry, 500 hit point Sound Barrier, I do believe. London, meanwhile, swapping to Ana, of all things. I've seen London do this more often. Bedosin seems to rate the Ana quite highly, and Birdring on the Pharah. Now, Pharah puts a timer on GOATS comp. The Pharah isn't really going to be enough to kill targets unless maybe she lands 2 lucky rockets onto the Lucio, but Pharah will build up a barrage very, very quickly indeed. You can see Birdring already on 55%, and they've only been fighting about 15 seconds. He's building it up at a huge rate, and what that barrage lets you do is it lets you just drop people. So there we go, Neptuno just takes a couple of rockets, unfortunately, and down he goes. That's actually quite a lot of healing going. Sado with a actually quite nice Shadow there, but there's just no one really there to catch it. He does get it inside and outside the bubble, but it's still not going to be enough. Birdring's still looking for these kills, but one of the weaknesses, of course, of GOATS comp elsewhere is that it's slow to kill people. And so, sure, Philadelphia, they get a really good early push here. They manage to sort of slowly grind down the enemy team, but this is control. You need to kill people decisively and quickly on second, or the respawns come in and people start coming back. So, Prophet stalls at the point. A brilliant res coming out of Nuss there as well. Gets Gesture back in the fight. Gesture on 92%. If this fight goes longer, he will still get Primal Rage anyway and be able to stall further. And so, it gets slower and slower and slower. And so, Philadelphia just not with it. Like, they don't have the speed, they don't have the quickness of kills to actually take second here with this comp at the moment. Now then, something kind of interesting is about to happen. So Carpe's going to start swapping up, and that's going to start pushing Birdring off the Pharah, of course. But the hero that I'm sure you're all super interested to hear about is Satan herself, is Mei. And they actually stay on the Mei. Prophet's actually going to stick to this Mei. I find that really interesting. It does kind of work here because no one on Philly can sort of get around the wall super easily. Like, Poco can, sure, that's about it. Even Neptuno can, but EQO, Sado, they can't really do anything about it. Prophet's also going to play it very, very safely and carefully. They're just going to wait, and then the moment that London want to really engage, there they go. They trap the Reinhardt. This is what Mei is super good at. She's just critical in sort of stopping up Reinhardt play. Like, that's honestly 90% of the time you're playing Mei and you're thinking about walling and freezing people. Look at Reinhardt, okay? Please, for the love of God, don't like chase Genjis around all day, every day. Genji's a little bit too agile. It will work sometimes, it will help, but Reinhardt. Focus on the Reinhardt, trust me. Does wonders. And so they manage to trap up Sado. Sado, I think, gets anti-healed, gets a Nano Winston applied to him, and gets Mei walled. There's nothing you can do. Once he's dropped, that's also going to build up Prophet's ult. You can see it here beautifully. Like, Prophet's just going to wait. Taking his time, and then Nano goes on Gesture. There's the wall, there's the anti-heal, and there's the kill onto Sado. Nothing too fancy about that, right? There's nothing too complicated happening here. It's just good application of the resources. Now then, they know that the Mei isn't going to work too well because Philadelphia have swapped up once again. They've gone double sniper. Mei doesn't work super great against that. They've also got a Winston and a Diva. This comp is a bit too agile now to do any real work there. So instead, Prophet's going to pick up the Genji, lets him close the distance, lets him pressure the snipers out, and lets him get some good work done. Basically playing sort of a divey style into the enemy team. Really good dash coming out from Prophet there as well. Just manages to catch several people in it. That's going to build up his Dragon Blade all the faster. London playing nice and aggressively as well. Once you have an advantage against double sniper at this level, the sort of the counter push can go very aggressively, right? The snipers are sort of too pressured, they're too flustered and too sort of hunted down and hounded to actually line up their shots properly and actually get some good kills. Sometimes Widowmaker will just pop off though and just blow someone's head off, so she kind of does that. Now, this is really good for London Spitfire, right? They have 70% of a Dragon Blade against the enemy team now. Prophet's in like one fight gone from 0 to 70 because he does stuff like this. And that's going to give them a huge amount of resources because the Dragon Blade's going to be difficult to deal with, and especially because they have Hotbar on the Zenyatta. Hotbar isn't Philly's Zenyatta play, right? That's Boombox. And so Hotbar could have a tough time here. Gets a DMAC, gets a slash into Poco, unfortunately gets hunted down and killed there, but the focus is just enough that they can maybe get, you know, a little bit out of it. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way, and this is why this fight is so tilty and comebacky, because it's like Fury goes nuts and tries to kill Carpe, who managed to get a mega health pack, managed to get all the healing on him so he survives, but during that time Birdwings kill 2 people, so now Philly, they want to engage, they pop Valkyrie, and then they realize, oh god no, most of our team's dead, Hotbar still in spawn, has Transcendence, so they can't really push into this one. And there's only 30 seconds left on the clock. What do? Oh no, Carpe can't get out. He's sort of slammed his face into the wall there. It's all gone wrong. It's all been a bit of a disaster. And now London are going to pressure and pressure and pressure. They know that Hotbar has the Transcendence, and they know that it's such a key victory condition for them to find and pressure out that Zenyatta. If they can dive him, basically, force him to use that trance outside of the main fight on point, that's huge. That's absolutely huge, and you can see Gesture does just that. Gesture, Fury, Nuss all go in super deep. They even use a Valkyrie to do this, and they manage to force Hotbar into using that Transcendence. Maybe a Valkyrie from Neptuno would have been enough there, but they activated it in the previous fight. These decisions adding up and causing problems, because now Sado's had to jump on the point. He's got no health left. He's sort of been whittled down by a Hanzo and a Zenyatta. He can't survive that. He's going to go down, and now while everybody's dying, Bedosian has a Transcendence of his own. He's A-OK, he's feeling just fine, and now it's a complete disaster. Okay, and now, well, London, Prophet draws the Dragon Blade, kills Pogo with it, and then just stands there with a cool little anime pose because he knows he's won the fight. And so this is the London you want to see. This is the London that looks like the greatest team in the world. This is the London that looks like it was built from 2 of the top Korean teams, right? This is the London that we've been waiting for so long. It's insane how good this team is. And you can see that they're going to do exactly the same thing, by the way, that Philly did. They're just going to run out of spawn, see what the enemy team's running, and then maybe decide to change things up. One thing they're not going to change up, though, is that Ana pick. Now, I find that really interesting, because Philadelphia, they're going to run the Philly comp, right? The triple tank, single support, double sniper comp. Running a dive comp with Ana into it is super interesting. So the reason why you generally run Ana is you want that nano boost more than anything else. Nano Blade is very, very powerful. The issue I have with Nano Blade against this team comp is that it's good, don't get me wrong, but you know, you can't really kill Sado super easily. You can't kill Hotbar, you can't kill Poco, he's just going to fly away. You're going to have to dive super deep, and you're going to get maybe one of Carpe, EQO, and Neptuno. They're all going to be spread out probably. They're all going to be moving away from each other the moment that Nano Blade comes out. So it's going to be very difficult to get more than one kill on the back of that. It's a very interesting choice. Now, Ana does have uses, of course, against this team comp. Like, Sleep Dart is very effective when you're fighting against some large tanks, for example. The anti-heal could really cause some high-impact play as well. Really set Birdring up, for example, and getting a couple of cheeky kills. Unfortunately, Carpe and EQO, they still, you know, they are very dangerous DPS players, so they managed to sort of shut everything down. But it is interesting to see London going for this Ana pick. She does bring a lot of resources, but I'd be curious to see, you know, what they could do with the Zenyatta. Instead, like, I like Zen. Okay, he's just so good at killing people and helping kill people. Provides extra damage. Everything's all good. Discord Orb is a really good ability, it turns out. So you're going to see that Prophet's just trying to build out that Dragon Blade. Of course, he's not really going to kill anyone outside of the Dragon Blade. Goes in, dashes forward. Oh no, gets halted, stopped up, can't do anything. Sado just fortifies. He's got a Mercy healing him. Neptuno's flying around in the sky with Valkyrie as well. And then Neptuno, well, he does what he's known for. Okay, Neptuno does this all the time, and he's so good with this Valkyrie. The reason why he does this, like, he understands that Valkyrie gives him mobility and survivability. So if someone's on like 30 to 60 hit points, well, he only needs to land 2 hits, and he can just fire and fire and fire and fire and fire. So he's not giving a heck, basically. So Neptuno can just move around freely, and he realizes that, you know, the main reason that people get away is that they sort of run back into the enemy team, but Mercy moves faster than them. So you're going to see his movement here, that he sort of spots that Prophet's on no hit points, and just moves to confirm the kill, stops anyone else getting to him first, stops anyone healing him up before he can get there, and then he even spots, oh look, Nuss, he's on like 2 shots, lands the hits, gets a headshot there I think as well, and just kills him off, no problem, because he realizes his opportunities. If you're a Mercy player looking to improve your game, be careful is what I'll say. Be very, very cautious on doing plays like Neptuno's, but absolutely look for opportunities perhaps where 1 or 2 shots from the blaster will finish somebody off, because you can absolutely land those. Okay, London gonna give this another. Actually, London gonna change things up. Sorry. Yeah, they're gonna change things away. They've realized that, you know, they've shot their main weapon here with the Nano Blade, didn't really get anything with it, so they're just going to run a mirror comp. Now, Philadelphia, slightly overeager there. Like, they've dropped the supercharger, they've used the Dragon Strike, but London just sat back and waited, which is exactly what you should do during this sort of thing. You know, no one's in real threat there, so they could just back away. But then Hotbar, he's pretty good. He is pretty good. Hotbar's had some good matches over the season, and definitely sort of a threat to be reckoned with. But Bedosian also just gets stuck in the backlines, and this is where, as a London fan, you're kind of thinking, oh my god, no, right? Philly won the previous map, if I remember correctly, on this series. They're a momentum-based team. London's also kind of momentum-based as well, so if the wheels start falling off of London, well, it could be a disaster here. There's like 30 seconds left. There's one fight left in this, ladies and gentlemen. They got to do something on this one, and they got to make it happen. Bedosian's death there slowed this down even more, because you have to run through quickly, right? You have to do what we call transitioning very quickly when in these pro-level games. People don't hang about in choke points because that's the worst thing to do. That's the easiest way to die. And again, an early kill on the Prophet. Dragon Strike even goes over the corpse, you notice, to try and stop the res coming in. You can see how scared Nuss is of doing it. But this is the beautiful play. Fury sends in the bomb, sends it up and over, manages to get Neptuno, and it clears space for the res. So Prophet gets picked back up again. Prophet is back in the fight. Hotbar has been isolated by that bomb as well. The lone Roadhog is not enough here to kill the tanks. He's not enough to kill anything but Nurse. So he can't do anything really anymore. London sit together, they push forward on the point, and suddenly they're back in it. Suddenly they're back in this game off the back of a winning play from Philadelphia Fusion, killing off Prophet, and a Dragon Strike being used to sort of stop that one up. They couldn't control the space well enough because London used the bomb so cleverly that the res comes back in, the kills start coming through, a couple of unfortunate deaths to that Diva bomb, more than enough for London Spitfire to come back into this one. So I'm petitioning to start, I don't know, you know, Sty names the videos, not me, but I'm petitioning to call them like Comeback Kings or something, because my god, this game has some sick players in it, most of them are comebacks. Speaking of, Birdring, huge kill onto Neptuno, you can see that London instantly engaged, Supercharger comes down, tanks charging forward, Dragon Strike coming through the side as well, but Poco is, he's pretty good. Poco's very, very good at these Diva bombs. Managed to get 2 crucial kills on the back of that one. Neptuno gonna even help out cleaning this one up. But then Prophet Birdring, out of nowhere, just swings it once again. The fight continues, and Prophet and Birdring just lay out so much damage. This is the danger of Hanzo and Widowmaker. They can kill things so quickly. You cannot underestimate them. And Prophet, something in the grand finals like lit a fire in him, and this happens to some players where that high competitive environment, that high stress environment, absolutely supercharges them. Like, he's just gone Super Saiyan there. He's just seen like his, it's not the Krillin exploded, it's the Nuss exploded basically, and he's just like and then just kills everybody. It's crazy. And so yeah, it's mental. They Philly managed to sort of, you know, get back into it by dint of respawns, and you can see the 4 tanks sort of huddling behind a barrier from 2 snipers. Like, they're just a little bit scared, a little bit nervous. Oh no, Prophet, don't kill me. It's crazy pants, okay? So then, London gonna change things up again though. Prophet gonna move off that DPS role, move on to the Brigitte. They want to run into it. EQO instantly swaps away onto the Farah, because the Widowmaker, there's no Widowmaker threat. There's nothing to stop him in the sky. So again, that timer thing that I was talking about with Birdring before, EQO has that same position. He can just sort of safely fire rockets from above. It also helps keep Neptuno safe, and Philly not going to waste any time either. They're going to try to start leveraging that aggression. They use the supercharger, start pushing out, breaking the way forward. EQO starts landing these rockets, builds up the barrage nice and quickly, and manages to pressure London Spitfire onto the back foot. It's a little bit tough here because Birdring can't really deal with EQO. You can see it here. He's trying his hard out. He's trying to land these shots, but all the time he's trying to aim at the Farah, which is already going to be difficult for a Hanzo. Carpe's looking for him. Hotbar's looking for him. Everybody's hunting him down. Pogo's eating up his shots. Neptuno's healing the Farah. It's tough, right? It's pretty tough. So London, they have some decisions to be made, right? And Prophet is going to make one. He's going to change onto the Tracer, of all things. So you might think, well, they've got a problem with this Farah, why play Tracer? Tracer is very, very good at just finding kills, okay? She's very good at hunting down and killing off targets. You can see Carpe going to counter that straight away as well. He's going to swap off the Widowmaker. He's going to go Tracer on his own, try and contest Prophet. It's the first thing he does, hunts him down on the flank. We have an aggressive push going in on the main. Meanwhile, this sort of Tracer fight's happening on the sidelines, but Sado and Hotbar working together, using that Halt Hook combo, managed to get a lot of damage done. EQO drops a barrage in, manages to get rid of Gesture, which is going to actually be more than enough. You can see that Gesture was on 97% of his ultimate charge there. Almost had a Primal Rage. Primal Rage very good, like extremely good ultimate if the enemy is trying to pressure and focus down the Whitson, and he just gets 1,000 hit points out of nowhere. Well, that's all time and resources being used on a hero that hasn't died, and that, of course, is very, very bad. So a little bit lucky there to get Gesture, but manages to work out as well. Superb play coming out of Philadelphia Fusion, just not wasting any time at all. London realizing, well, maybe we need to slow down the team a little bit more. We're going to bring out the McCree instead. The stun's going to be quite powerful. EQO swaps off the Farah because he realizes the hit scan threat is going to be huge. Moves on to the Hanzo, higher DPS, for example, just very, very potent hero overall. Can move around on Volskya very well. Birdring, going to be perhaps trying to set up for a huge play here. But then a number of things happen all at once. So Hook comes through, Bedosin activates Trance. We're going to focus on the perspective here at the moment. You can see that Philadelphia are sort of engaged in this big fight against London Spitfire's main push. But if you got your eye on the kill feed, you might notice that Prophet is just kind of killing everybody. And he isn't stopping. He's actually literally got 5 kills in this fight. Now we're going to take a look at that, okay? Let's take a look at that. So this is the play from Prophet's perspective, and I want you guys to focus on one thing, which is A, Neptuno gets taken down to half hit points, and he gets spotted. So Prophet goes straight in, but I also want you guys to pay attention to the fact that nobody is looking at Prophet. Nobody is looking at him. Okay, the tanks from London Spitfire are doing such a good job. You can see they're all looking at Gesture, they're all looking at Fury, they're all looking away. I think the only person that even tries to hit him is Sado. And so nobody actually stops Prophet from doing whatever the hell he wants there. It's an insane amount of play coming up there, and sure, Prophet deserves all the accolades for that. You did an amazing thing. But also London just worked together in a way that they haven't worked together I've ever seen. And it's an insanely good thing to see. Now then, London peaking, I would say, at the end of the season, which is exactly probably when you want to peak. This is an American system. Both Sty and I are confused by playoffs. We're used to just a league ending with, you know, people in first and second and stuff. But otherwise, yeah, London peak at absolutely the right time. Philadelphia played very well throughout this season, and towards the end of the season especially, but still not going to be quite enough. Once again, thank you to everybody who came out to New York and said hello, and thank you to everybody who made that event such a powerful and good event, such an energizing event overall is what I would say. Otherwise, I have been Josh's one voice amongst many. Hopefully you enjoyed and learned something in this VOD review, and I'll see you guys next time. Toodles.